husband said tonight, anyone who knows me, they should expect you're going to speak longer. So I'll try and keep it brief and succinct. But really, good evening everyone, and wow, there really is a lot of faces here. Excuse the accent and the occasional Aussie terms. Awesome. But really excited to be here, and the key thing I wanted to talk to you about is my journey. Obviously something dear to my heart, but someone who's had a really big part of that is Diane Ralston, particularly over the last couple of years. So I've broken my speech into three: confidence, courage, and strength. Confidence, so a number of years ago, I was in a new country, new city, had a new job, lasted for about 5 months, and then lost my first job ever because I told them what I thought was wrong, which turned out to be a good thing. But at that time, you can imagine the loss of confidence, the self-judgment that goes on, the questioning in your mind. Overall, I am an overthinker, so I was pretty raw. I decided to pick myself up, so I started Googling around for different women's networking groups in Vancouver, and lo and behold, Dynamic Women in Action appeared on my screen. And thanks to the universe, I had landed there and then. My first meeting, I sat quietly in the back, observed, looked around as we all do, but slowly I started to participate, and the energy in the room was amazing. And then I met a fellow Aussie, Booyah, and things were definitely on the up. I do love my Canadian friends as well. But the next day, following that, Diane actually telephoned me to see how I had enjoyed that DWA meeting. During this conversation, she was one of the few people who I actually opened up to about losing my job. And that was the first time I'd ever been fired in my life. And basically, there was no judgment there at all. She shared a practical example with me from her previous career, and that practical example stayed with me, and at that point it meant the world to me because I realised a job was not what defined me. I no longer had to hold on to that. So moving through, in our first session starting together, we started with core values. Who knew we all actually have core values? I hadn't realised at all. But through that, this was invaluable because it allowed me to clearly define what I wanted, personally and professionally. And so why I had not enjoyed that role at the company was because their internal culture, their team, I thought it was toxic, but it was completely opposite from my core values. So there was never going to be that fit. So that was a defining moment for me, particularly around confidence, because I could stand in me and my core values and know where I wanted to be. So the tools, accountability and clarity Diane provided increased my self-confidence and self-belief, and I felt worthy again. Moving on to courage. So would I find a second job in Canada? Yes, I would. Could I find a company which had the same core values as part of my mission? Booyah, I did. And Diane encouraged me to have the confidence and see myself as being worthy to be accepted into this new role. And it was incredible. I started as a maternity contract position. The contract got extended. My manager and I had a terrific relationship, and so did the team, because we all had those same core values. Finding courage to leave the 9 to 5, could it be done? Oh yes, it could. Diane has been an amazing support, mentor and advisor through this process. Initially, when I have suggested big plans like this in my past, I've had certain limiting beliefs come in. Don't want to do that. Stay in the comfort zone. But because we could work together and define a clear strategy moving forward and a clear path, I had the utmost confidence and was able to diminish those limiting beliefs. Courage is often defined by life events, and I did want to touch on this. I know we're here for celebration, but when you work one-on-one with someone, it's amazing the different life events that pop up and the strength just to know you've got that support behind you. Mine was defined by a sudden loss of a close family member in the middle of last year. I had to actually telephone my husband to let him know that his mother had passed away in Australia. And my poor husband was in a hotel room in Portland. And so that was a pretty, awful moment. And I'm sure we've all gone through a loss and that. But the fact that I had Diane's support was amazing. I could openly share my grief, my thoughts and feelings. And the key thing was there were things I had not said to this person that I needed to. And so she was able to provide me with a simple strategy, writing an open letter, putting everything that you needed to tell in that letter and post it or do whatever you want to dispose of it. But that gave me clearance and closure because I was able to say my piece. So, I just wanted to highlight that because there's other ways that a coach will support you, not just professionally, also personally. So now strength. So we're finishing on a positive. I have increased my strength, personal growth and self-belief from my work with Diane. I seek to now actively challenge myself both personally and professionally, and invaluable tips and tricks that I've learnt along the way from her. Opportunities abound, but be true to yourself and have the power to say no, to say yes. Also too, life is too short to be unhappy. Be prepared to design relationships. It'll definitely save your energy and give you a clear direction. And now, as I launch into the future with my new company or business, West Women Trekkers Inc., leading women out on the trek training on the trails around Vancouver, I know I've got someone behind me who's supporting and cheering me on, as well as in my new role as a personal trainer as well. I turn to, as I motivate my clients, I've got my own motivator cheering me on from behind. But really, there is a lot you can achieve in 3 years, and that's what this has been. So what an adventure. So what's stopping you? Now it is your turn to challenge yourself, and this is what life is all about. Don't be a wallflower. Get up. Take charge. Create, implement, and manage where you want to be. It's up to you, and you can have that. As Eleanor Roosevelt stated, and this is my mantra, you gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the things you think you cannot do. So, as I said, this is my mantra, and with the unwavering support from my coach, mentor, cheerleader, and friend Diane, I'm unstoppable. And I sincerely thank you for your unwavering support and belief in me.